and so on and so forth. So when we really look at it, it's like, all right, whose values are more important? Because at the end of the day, the kid, the child, is going to either listen to the parent or listen to the teacher. And that creates ethical dilemmas because, well, the child understands that you told them that they need to defend themselves, but they also know that the school rules say you shouldn't hit, you shouldn't fight because there are consequences. Now, teachers may agree with parents on defending themselves because, well, they have kids of their own and they want their kids to defend themselves too. That's perfectly fine. But I have an obligation to the school too. I have an obligation to the district as well. And so do the other professionals in the district and any other district at that to maintain the safety of all children. Right? So another example would be looking at confidentiality. Say a student comes up to me and talks about how abusive their household was, right? Verbal, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever. I have to find a way to report that to someone that has the skills to deal with that. As a mandated reporter, I have to follow up on documentation. I have to follow up on the conversations that I had with this student, but it creates blurred lines because I have an obligatory duty to become. I have an obligatory duty to to report these incidents because I'm mandated to do so by state law. But they, the children, still have to go home, right? Because these kids are still dealing with it, and other kids deal with life differently, right? Our students of colors deal with different situations so much differently than those of those of white descent, right? When it comes to communication development, some of the students of color, students of color's parents don't even have their high school diploma still, right? Or they may have their high school diploma but never went to college, right? So they have some education, but it's not going to really fulfill their needs that the child wants, and eventually leaving them disadvantaged. So then they come to me or they come to school and they try to get all of this stimulation that they can't get from the home, that they struggle to get from the home. And it's not the parents' fault necessarily. It's just how all of society is, right? People are set up in people are in situations that sometimes they don't have control over, right? Some people may not have the money to go to college. They had to pick up a trade, right? They had to work back at home, or they had children and they had to take care of their kids and they had to find a job. So many things can happen, but we have to be mindful that all of these things are happening so that we can best help these students, which goes back to having that open communication and those skills to really develop those children so that they know that their parents' outcome doesn't have to be theirs. And it takes a village to raise a child, right? That that ideology comes from a human development theory from Eric Erickson. And it talks about how different ecological systems work together to make the whole work as one, right? So, for example, say we have a student, right? And one system is their home life, right? How their home life is. So they have two parents, they may have one parent, so on and so forth, right? And then that student goes to school and they have a community there, right? They have teachers, they have paraprofessionals, they have student engagement advocates, they have school counselors, they have deans, they have assistant principals, they have their peers, right? All in one setting, right? So they're in the school. Then they have the community, right? Now they have community activists. Now they have different community leaders. Now they have different legislators, all happening around them, right? And all of those things come together to truly shape how that individual, system is working. So, with any system, it can break down with any kind of malfunction, right? So, if the communication isn't consistent within those systems that child is going through, there are risks of the structure as a whole breaking down. Because, all right, you have your you have your child go to school and they get into a fight. That child defending himself. That's what he or she learned from being at home. But then the community is outraged because it's a fight between a black and a white student. Oh, but the community is having one person's back and the other is having the other person back because one is defending themselves and the other was just trying to be a hoodlum or any kind of other stereotypical aspect that may set dissonance into the system. And that can't happen, right? So communication development says we must find a way to openly communicate these aspects through all channels so that there is no lack of communication. With that being said, too, there is another human development theory by Bronfenbrenner that talks about how the psychosocial stages of human development are based upon how students are trying to learn about their social situations at their age, right? They're at that pre-adolescent age from 10 to 14, right? Those children are very important because those children are learning how to be human beings, individuals, right? They're starting to pick up on their physicality, right? Oh, they're starting to get bigger. They're starting to get taller. They are starting to be in different environments. They're trying to be in different aspects with their friends. They're trying to get acclimated into school systems, right? They're doing all of these things while understanding that they're in different spaces and they're getting older and their bodies are changing, right? So with that in mind, communication development also says that it's okay to have conversations about change that's happening in their lives. Because as hard as change can be, we have to find a way to communicate with our children, with our students, on how to productively communicate the changes that they're experiencing. And there are different public policies out there that will talk about that too and help students really get acclimated into being who they are, right? There are a lot of after school programs that are put together to help with students. There are a lot of mentor programs within the school system, within the school district that help students truly identify with someone who they feel comfortable with, identify with a group that they feel comfortable with to truly be themselves in. And they can only learn how to be themselves if they develop that purposeful communication. Earlier, I talked about two human development theories. I apologize. I mixed those two up. Eric Erickson was the psychosocial stages of human development, and Bronfenbrenner was the social ecological state systems theory. I apologize about that truly. So, with that being said, I just want to end on this note. Communication development is huge. Talk to your kids. Have open conversations with them. It doesn't just because you have open conversations with your kids doesn't mean that you're trying to be their friend. It means that you're trying to help them understand that it's okay to use your words. It's okay to talk about things. It's okay to feel safe in these spaces because no one else will help them do that unless they are safe enough in their minds to try in different spaces. So my message to you is keep communication open. Find ways to truly allow for other systems to fall into place into how you want that child to be, how you want your child to grow up. Find a system that will see your values, see your core values, and meet them where they are. My name is Zachary Booth, and this was a communication development project. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort and appreciate you being with me this evening. Thank you. Have a good one.